This is an official statement from JUNU, head of the International Police Forces Organization, regarding the war in Ukraine and the second genocide of Ukrainians. On the 24th of February 2022, Russian armed militia and other Russian state-sponsored terror organizations violated the international law and laws and invaded Ukraine, a sovereign state in Europe. This follows the invasion of the same Russian forces to Crimea in 2014. The Russian president did declare war as by what's left of the Russian law, the regular army of Russia, the one which some refers to as the Red Army, is not allowed to leave the boundaries of Moscow in case of war. That is why it is imperative and important to mention Russian militias and terror organizations, and not the Red Army. The Red Army, whichever values it may had back in World War II, is gone in the same way the USSR is gone. Wars have a meaning. Wars can bring peace. Wars can trigger a war. And in some cases, those wars are used to spread hate, death, and destruction. These wars are called propaganda. The Russian state entity, and I define it as such because when USSR dissolved, there was never a vote in the United Nations General Assembly for re-accepting the Russian state as a member of the United Nations and as a successor state to USSR. Russia is not the successor state to USSR. Such a test of whom is the real successor state based on the flag and the values of Lenin is a different state, not Russia. Remember, I said wars can trigger an irrational response. Therefore, despite I know whom is the real successor state to USSR, I will keep this information out of public view until the war in Ukraine will end. This is what's important now. Every person worldwide can be a politician, to dress up in a nice suit and tie and talk about things which in majority he or she do not believe in or have zero knowledge in. Every single person. Neither me or the organization which I stand at its head are not politicians or a political party or supported by any state. We value humanity as a sacred value, not the value of the coin and mass murder. Soon, 14 months will pass since the full-scale invasion and almost 10 years since Crimea was taken away by brutal force. I, as an individual and as a commanding executive of the IPF, say the words which no one has either the balls or guts or courage to say. I have no suit and tie, not even one. Words and sentences have a meaning. Sometimes we see what looks like a bravo moment, such a moment which is highlighted by the blue helmets, a show-off of lies and deceptions. Why do you lie, the world, blue helmets? Why you use Africans as a puppet show when they are in agony and pain, not because of hunger only, and for sure not because of Ukraine, but because that your food banks in Africa are controlled by national mafias and gangsters, or perhaps the Secretary General forgot to tell you that his son is a VIP in both Africa and Russia, and by his orders the UN moves or stands still and silent. We have seen the actions of the now UN Secretary General, which he was head of the refugee agency. How many houses his family built and purchased because of those global crises? How many lives could have been saved? Humanity is not a collateral damage or a pawn in any political game. Humanity matters. Every single person, every human counts. And we refuse the definition of be in NATO or die. Russians also say be Russian like us or die. There are alternatives. Don't tell me or others it takes time. 14 months have passed. There is a solution. You know there is. Now everyone will also know. If there is a wildfire in any state, what will the government of the state do when its fire services is overwhelmed? What will any democratic normal government do? They will call for an international help. This case applies for Ukraine. Call for the police, those in Europe and worldwide. What is the fear of the international decision makers? What are you worried about? You know this. I need to tell you this after a year plus. I need to tell you this after almost 10 years since Crimea. You know this. Now everyone also knows. I will end my statement with an obituary. An obituary to the fallen. We will never forget your sacrifice. We will never forget what you did for humanity and your nation. We must commemorate you in every way we can. As to the United Nations, clear the stage. Your mandate for humanity expired. You are accountable and responsible for all atrocities to humanity since the 10th of January 1920. Every genocide, every war, and every violation of the international law, which despite you knew of, you decided to look the other way, as if this doesn't concern you at all. A suit and tie, best used for weddings rather than politics.